are constantly influenced by sound. Everything in the world around us is emitting some type of frequency or vibration. That's why what we listen to is like so important, because we literally embody that vibration of those sounds or that music.
Essential oils actually have frequency too. Like an essential oil can pretty much like help you with your confidence, because a lot of people deal with depression because their skin might not be healthy, or just daily things that we're experiencing. And you talked about like regulating your nervous system and how music and good words can help you to do that. Like listening to even a podcast that might just have affirmations or might just be soothing sounds, beautiful chorus. We love us some beautiful chorus.
Love us some beautiful chorus.
We love us some
Shout
beautiful chorus. Shout out to them. Welcome back to another Urban Eden podcast episode. This is your host, Taryn Lewis, and today I'm going to be interviewing somebody that is very special, a friend of mine. Her name is Akiyla McQueen. Akila was my doula when I just had Eden not too long ago, so we got to spend a lot of time there. I'm going to read she has an about us on her website. I like to give people their proper due diligence when I introduce them, similar to Club Shay Shay. He be doing the best introduction, so I was like, I got to make sure my introductions are on point. I usually just try to go find, even though I know Akila, she's just an awesome, amazing spirit. I wanted to give her proper accolades, but personally, in knowing her, she's just an awesome, amazing spirit. Always been so calming. Like I said, she was my doula. I knew she was going to be my doula well before I even got pregnant, just because the vibes, okay? So let's get into the formalities of who Akiyla McQueen is. She is a homeschooling mompreneur of 3. She stands out at the confluence of education, healing, and transformative culinary arts, redefining the journey of holistic well-being. With a master's degree in music therapy, her specialization in mental health and wellness has paved the way for her profound journey as an initiated shaman and intuitive counselor. Akila's guidance illuminates the path for individuals navigating their spiritual and emotional quest. As a certified raw vegan chef, Akila not only crafts meals that heal and energize, but also mentors others, spreading the gospel of nutritional healing. Her role as a professor is marked by the impartation of sacred teachings to future holistic health practitioners, merging the threads of ancient wisdom with contemporary healing practices. Akiyla McQueen is renowned for hosting retreats that offer sacred spaces for people from all walks of life, creating opportunities for self-actualization and mastery in chosen fields of brilliance. Her expertise extends to being a Reiki master, plant medicine facilitator, sound therapist, and energy medicine practitioner, where she harnesses universal energies to foster healing and equilibrium. Her engagement with plant medicine acts as a conduit to the profound wisdom of nature. Embodied as a holistic engineer and energy technician, Akila is fervently dedicated to the evolution of consciousness. Through a spectrum of healing modalities, she is a beacon for those on their transformative path towards enlightenment and self-mastery, making Akila McQueen a pivotal figure in the service of global awakening. I had to read that whole situation because she is literally everything that is going up in there. You know, we have holistic conversations here on the Urban Eden podcast, and Akila just embodies everything holistic. Like, so we're not even going to have, like, I wanted to talk about one specific thing today, but we're about to talk about wherever this conversation and dialogue takes us and flows, because she's well-rounded in so many areas. So thank you, no problem. Without further ado, welcome, Akila. And how do you want to begin? What do you want us to know about you? I think with the paragraph said everything, but how do you describe yourself?
Oh, I definitely lean to that holistic engineer. I'm just big on the whole picture. How can we take care of and be embodied into the whole picture of ourselves and our lives with other people that we engage with, and just the universe itself. You know, I'm fascinated by all things interconnected. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm excited because I love you and I think you're amazing. Another boss is, you know, in my life. Who's also just a pivotal figure as well. So wherever the conversation goes, I'm ready.
All right, I'm excited. I'm excited. So, okay, so I see this term holistic engineer, and I want to dive deeper into what does that mean to you, because I've never heard a person call themselves a holistic engineer. So, what is that?
Yes.
Can you go in depth with that?
Yes, well, I actually got it from a brother who came up with like the term as he was describing us and what we do. And it's basically somebody that designs spaces, thinking of all things in mind, body, soul, you know. So I have taken a journey through just my own personal life, but also in my professional life, to study the different aspects of ourselves to be able to support and nurture, you know, whatever it is we got going on. So, for example, in school, I have my master's in music therapy, and I had an inclination and more of a concentration of mental health as it relates to music therapy. So, studying psychology, counseling, family dynamics, and different things like that to really just understand like the depths of where the mind can go, getting all into all the crevices of the mind, the shadows, the conscious, the subconscious, repressed memories, trauma, stress, all those things. I've taken a lot of time, years of study, even just understanding how we process grief, how we process you know, coming into our purpose, different things like that as it relates to the mind. And then as well as studying food. You know, how does our body react to what we eat? What is this relationship that we have with consumption? And seeing how that even connects with our mind. What are we eating? Like what words, what affirmations or spells do we put upon ourselves by the things that we say to ourselves, or the things that other people say to us, or the thoughts that we have in the background? You know, how does those things feed us? Do they nurture us or do they deplete us, which, you know, goes into the physical body as well? Does the foods that we eat nurture us or do they deplete us? And building upon this relationship with ourselves to know like what's for us and what's not, you know. And then I'm a Pisces.
I love Pisces. I'm a Virgos, and Pisces get along so well.
Yes. So I'm super watery. Yeah. You know, have learned to embrace my emotionality. I enjoy the emotional depth that I have, and so just even taking the time to understand others and, you know, just how people emotionally navigate, you know, and creating spaces that feel safe enough for people's vulnerability and transparency. And then I'm also very, very spiritual. I have a very deep and personal relationship with spirit. And so I work a lot with people's energy, as well as just work a lot with spirit in general, like communing, channeling, doing different things that, you know, awaken or expand my consciousness. And so like all of those pillars of mind, body, and spirit and emotion make up our multidimensional selves. And so when you put all those together and creating spaces to support that, as like an engineer creating some type of design, right? Designing things, right? So I'm holistically designing things that support a person as a whole.
Okay, that makes sense. And it's like, it's crazy because you said so much and you still didn't say enough because because just like, I don't even know how, like I always say like the holistic journey or being holistic, it's just being whole in general. And it embodies so many different things because it's truly like you as a person, as a human, the emotional, the intellect, the spiritual, the physical aspect of it. And so you're saying like you create spaces, you help to just like help others to tap in. And then it even sounds like too like it's just been a journey for you just along in your life.
Yes.
And it's not something, even though like you said that you've mastered some things, it's so crazy because it's like you don't necessarily even master like a holistic journey because
Yes.
it's just it's a continual learning.
Yes, ever evolving, evolving. And, you know, my life walk has taken me places that has allowed me to see like a lot of the spectrum of humanity. So even how you mentioned I've been your doula, and being a doula, being a part of humans' first moments coming into life, you know, and the celebration of that with their family. And then I worked for years in hospice care, you know, as a music therapist, being at the bedside of the dying people who are as old as 105 years old, you know, and listening to their journey and the things that, like, that meant so much to them, and what they loved about living their life, and what regrets or worries they've had, you know, or what peace they found, you know, coming to their last days, and then everything in between. And so, like, I appreciate, even just at the age of 35, the holistic view that I've got to see, being in certain positions that have allowed me to see the different steps and walks of life of the human, period. And that has really emphasized my holistic journey even more. Like, what things do I need to be incorporated in my life to make it as full as possible? And how can I share that with others to inspire them to do the same, you know, if that is what they're called to do, you know?
That is so key right there, because I think that's pretty much what life is about. It's like you said, what things can I be incorporated in my life? I know, like, even me right now, I'm just kind of like, I feel like I haven't like gardened or like, you know, grew a plant. But right now, like, I'm being a mom. Like, I'm like trying to still integrate who I was before with like who I am now, what I have going on now, and kind of like, well, how do I tap back into those things? But again, like I said, it's a journey, and I feel like it's like a time and a season. Like, even though I'm kind of not like focused on it right now, it's not to say it's something that's in me. So I'm like, I'm gonna get back to it at some point. But like you said, it's just a matter of like finding those things for yourself and then sharing those with other people. And I think that we're all trying to find the balance of that within this social media world right now. Like, wanting to be who you are, wanting to, like, on one end, wanting to share, but not share too much. And like,
Right.
It is truly like a balance between everything. So even in everything that you listed, I'm like, okay, we got so much to tap into. Hopefully it doesn't go long. I don't know. We just about to go. But first I want to talk about, I'm like torn between, do I want to talk about the food or the music first? Let's talk about what I'm trying to think. What is it telling me to do? Music first. Okay. Let's talk about music and sound healing first. Yes. Because sound healing is something that is relatively new for me. I've been within it for a couple of years, but I haven't like practiced it. Well, I have practiced it last year on my own. I have like a sound bowl. I have some of those. But you and Preem are some of the first people that I've seen that were, you know, doing sound healing. So how does sound healing, and it's interesting to me because just one of the 5 senses is sound. I love essential oils, and that has to do with like smell, and of course making soap has to do with touch. But then there's sound, and sound resonates with so many people. It can bring us back to certain memories. It can open up certain blockages that we might have had. So can you just go deeper into how sound healing embodies a holistic journey in general?
Yes. Well, we are constantly influenced by sound. Everything in the world around us is emitting some type of frequency or vibration, and we are affected by that through the process of what's called entrainment, meaning we synchronize ourselves towards the most dominating vibration in the room, right? So if we hear a song and it's like upbeat, and everybody's actually listening, you'll notice that everybody will get into the beat of the music. And that's called entrainment, where like neurologically designed to entrained to things, but we're also vibrationally aligned to entrained to stuff. And so that's why what we listen to is like so important, because we literally embody that vibration of those sounds or that music. And so when we think about like earth itself, if we walk outside in nature or if you're inside, you can tell the difference by how you feel, because the vibration that's being emitted outside is different than the ones that's encased inside of a building, right? Because everything has some type of frequency. And even though everything's not audible, it's still sound. We would actually be going insane if we if everything was completely silent.
Right,
you
could feel it.
We could feel it. It's like actually very eerie. They have some place in the world where it's like complete silence and people can only take it for like 30 seconds. That's how like insane it is to not experience vibration. And so with sound, as a music therapist, we study how music and sound affects our physiological body and our neurological body. And music and sound is one of the only phenomenological things that we experience on the planet that accesses the whole entire brain, which is how we can, recall certain memories, repress certain memories. People who haven't spoke in years, and I've seen this myself working with patients, can be able to like articulate words or sing a song. People, I've worked with babies in the NICU who have a 50% chance higher of surviving and thriving while if they receive music therapy or sound therapy in some sort, because the way that the vibration helps with their development and their progression. So when I think of sound, I'm like, it's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's literally everything. Even if you look at some spiritual literature, because I'm like a nerd for like theology, you'll see that a lot of it is like, and something said, right? It was the sound that brought things into being.
Creation. Yeah.
Exactly. And so even what we say creates our reality. What we tell ourselves is the motivation behind what we do. What people have said to us, like, if you hear somebody's tone of voice, it can either empower you or disempower you or piss you off, right?
It's the tone. It's right? All in the tone.
It's all in the tone. That tone is emitting a vibration. It's a sound. It holds some type of frequency. And so through the process of sound therapy, it's being able to say, like, we're taking such a powerful phenomenon and utilizing it as a source of healing, as a source of medicine. How can we entrain you to a vibration that creates homeostasis inside the body? Because once the body is in a state of homeostasis, then it can heal itself. The organs will start working better. Your mind will start thinking more clearer. Your nervous system feels more relaxed and not overstimulated or overactive or becoming dysregulated. So when I'm thinking about sound, I'm like, it's an integral part to our healing, right? When you wake up in the morning, like, I encourage you to listen to like the birds outside, listen to, ocean waves, put on some meditation music to like really jumpstart your day with this like sound bath. Just like you would shower your body, shower your body again, your energetic body, your whole being with vibrational medicine. It's very powerful.
Girl, that was wow. That was deep. That was in tune. And no, you said a lot of great things, especially like just even saying words, how that can just bring a different demeanor over you, like saying words, hearing a song that makes you feel good. I'm gonna definitely take that tip of like listening to some meditation music in the morning. It was crazy because you're like, well, in the morning listen to like birds. I'm like, my baby, as soon as she wake up, her word right now is daddy. So she's 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And I think about even just a baby. I mean, like you said, from all stages of life, but even how like a baby, as soon as they wake up, like the first thing that they want to do is make noise or explore their voice, screaming. They don't understand like inside voice or what have you. But even like you said, speaking life into even a baby, or to somebody that might just be transitioning, or to plants.
Exactly.
I mean, plants let us know like that they are energetic beings just like us. They benefit from listening to sound just like us, and affirmations as well. And that actually kind of like, it reminded me of when I just recently did another podcast with Jade Schutz, and she was mentioning about how an essential oil, which essential oils actually have frequency too. They come from plants, but they have frequencies. But like an essential oil can pretty much like help you with your confidence, because even just within skincare, a lot of people deal with depression because their skin might not be healthy, or just daily things that we're experiencing. And you talked about like regulating your nervous system, and how music and good words can help you to do that. Like listening to even a podcast that might just have affirmations, or might just be soothing sounds, beautiful chorus. We love us some beautiful chorus.
Love us some beautiful chorus.
We love us some beautiful chorus. Shout out to them. Like just listening to their music. I know that I've listened to their music just so many times, to just, even if it's repeating, they have songs where it's just repeating something, but it opens up, it unlocks, like I said, a blockage in you that you might have been experiencing, and just like opening you up to being in tune and aligning with yourself within those affirmations.
Yes.
So like you said, sound is everything. And even with the sound healing, my thing is like, so sound healing, are you feeling like just like listening to like a sound bowl, the frequencies that sound bowls that they emit, are they just putting you into this more like calm state? What do sound bowls, what are they doing pretty much?
Okay. So they all have, depending on what frequency they are vibrating at, all have different ways in which they affect the body. Most sound bowls though are utilized for relaxation, kind of shifting you into brainwave states of like delta, theta, so you just feel more relaxed or going into sleep. But you can also use sound bowls to induce like alpha waves and gamma waves, which is like to make you be more alert, but not like overactive, like not anxious. Like you need to be focused, you need to get some things done. It can create heightened sense of awareness, as well as like promote with gamma waves. That's when we are in the brainwave state that allows us to be more in tune with spirit as well, but really just more aware. The more aware we are, the more we can be like more in tune, and feel more connected to the universe itself. So with the sound bowls, it helps to get us into those states of being. So while people mostly think like, okay, you're relaxing the body, it's really just, yes, making the body relax, but it's also doing something else depending on what frequency is vibrating at. So like some bowls can vibrate to like what the root chakra is emitting to, and so that can help you feel more grounded. That can help you to feel more safe, especially if you're feeling insecure about your environment or life in general. It can help you reduce fear that you're having, and help you to be more clear on what you need to do to make sure that like your life is set up in a way that is, produces stability. You can play sound bowls towards the heart, to help release any grief that's pent up in the heart center, because that's what blocks our heart is grief and, a lot of sadness and stuff. So it can also just help attune it to the frequency it's supposed to be in, because all of our organs have a specific frequency that they operate at for them to produce at their optimization. Right? And so if your heart is out of balance when you play the singing bowl and bring it back into balance, now everything that's not right in there can be pushed out. Right? And this is how we can see people, maybe cry or laugh, or just have like a good sense of like release and relief through, receiving sound therapy. But there's so many different instruments in sound therapy that people use. Sound bowls just happen to be like the most commonly known ones, but we got drums, we got ring sticks, we got chimes,
saxophones.
We got the tongue drums, the happy drums, there's a lot of accessible instruments. With sound therapy, you don't necessarily have to be a musician to play those type of instruments, because they're called accessible, meaning that anybody can pick them up and play it. A child can just hit a bowl, or go around the ring of a bowl. And so it makes it a little bit more easier for people who don't want to do formal study of music to be able to still be a participant in this soundscape that we got going on in the world.
What made you even like, because you went to school for music therapy, right? So what have you always been into music since like you were younger?
Yes.
What made you want to like say I'm going to school for music therapy?
So my grandma, may she God in peace, says that I always love music. She said even when I was a toddler, I'd be singing in the back of her car, in my car seat. So my mom put me in music early. I started studying piano when I was like 7. And when I was graduating high school, I just knew that I love music so much. I didn't know what I wanted to do with music. I just know I wanted to study it because it was what I enjoyed doing the most. And after I graduated with my bachelor's in music, because I have a concentration in classical voice, and I was watching this movie and the music never stopped. And on there, it showed a music therapist working with a guy who had traumatic brain injury. And I was like fascinated. I was like, she's like helping him recollect memories, and she's like, providing therapy and counsel to him. And I was like, what is this? And she's playing music. I just was like, what is this? And so I looked it up, and I was like, this is a thing. This is musicians studying therapy, studying counseling, studying, how to support people. But using music as a bridge, I was sold from there. I was like, I gotta go to school and study this. This is what I meant to do, because I always wanted to help and counsel, and I always loved like being like in a space of healing with people. I've always loved that.
I could tell too. I'm like, we about to jump into the next thing, which is also still dealing with healing. But I'm like, just to even, actualize music and to understand that you wanted to help heal others, and of course like heal yourself and heal your family through music is interesting, because like throughout life we just have so many like awakenings, and like I've always loved the music, but it was like I said, it never kind of connected to me for it to be like to use it as a healing modality, even though you probably listen to a song or something like when you're feeling down or something, but to actually like go deeper into how can music help to heal the body, like you said, help to regulate the nervous system, help with emotional response, like it's deep.
It's so deep. It's so deep. So when I saw that there was something that could bring my two worlds together, because I was like, I don't want to go to be a doctor because that's helping people, but I'm like, I don't like science like that, So I was like, so when I saw this, I was like, this is so up my alley. So I'm like, I'm going to apply to Florida State, and I'm going to get in. And so that's what happened. And that started the journey, and I've loved it ever since, just being thankful that there was something out there in the world that brought my two loves together.
Right. Yeah, and you do work with autistic patients, like helping them with different like music therapy. How do you feel that how does it like help those who have autism?
Yeah, so again, since music does access all parts of the brain, it helps people or children with autism to be able to develop whatever skill sets they're working on. So, for example, I've worked with children with autism who are nonverbal, and if they are seeking to formulate words, or they appear nonverbal, I should say, like at the time of meeting them, they don't have any words, but through singing, through creating music with them, they learn to develop words, because when you pair music with the part of the brain that utilizes speech, they're able to develop the ability to speak words. It can help them with regulating their emotions, keeping them, more calm, just to say if like they might get overstimulated or overactive due to like our society is not set up for any type of divergence of being able to handle a lot of stimuli.
As soon as you step outside, it's just a lot.
It's just everywhere,
Right.
And so like a person with autism cannot, they're not designed to handle so much stimuli, and so they need things to kind of help regulate them, to calm them, to reorganize, how they're feeling. And so music could be an aspect of that for them. A safe space, a happy place, emotionally regulating place, and a neurologically regulating space as well.
Okay. So what you take in as far as like sound, has a big impact on just your well-being in general. So that's one thing that we are hearing pretty much from the side of sound. And then so now that's what you're listening to, what you take into, but then also another thing that you take in daily is food. And I know, like, me and Quentin, it's been a minute since we because I'm breastfeeding right now, so I can't really juice or detox, which I need to do, like a juice cleanse. But we've done so many like juice cleanses with you guys. Like, y'all will host one like every time the seasons change, pretty much. And that pretty much helped facilitate us a lot of times. I remember one time we did a 7-day juice fast with y'all. That was the longest time that I had ever did a juice fast, but I always come out on the other side like feeling good. And I always love that when you guys facilitated juice fast, it wasn't like you need to be doing this. You guys guided and facilitated and met people where they were. It didn't feel like forced. Of course, it's like, sign up for this juice cleanse that we're getting ready to do, but then you also guided and facilitated everybody who was a part of it, and like I said, in a way that met them where they were. Y'all weren't doing too much, like, y'all got to do this, and it was more so for us to challenge ourselves, like any individuals. So, like, how did y'all get into like juicing? I know that y'all went to like a raw vegan retreat to learn underneath what's his name? Dr. Aris. He's amazing. Yes. I want to hear about all of that. I want to hear about your food journey, and then, like, let's talk about food and how does it fit into a holistic journey?
Food is a big thing, because it's what we do every day, several times a day for some of us, right? And so it has a huge impact on our lives. I have a little bit of a unique journey because my mom raised me to be vegetarian/vegan. And so it was at a time where that wasn't super popular, and people had their things. Like, I would have I remember my 10-year birthday party. I got my veggie burgers, my veggie hot dogs, and my friends are like, I'm not eating that. I don't want no parts of that.
Oh, they didn't even want to try.
They didn't want to try. And I'm like, I'm in my mind, because I have never had meat at that time. I was like, it looked just like y'all burgers. It looked just like a regular hot dog. Like
it tastes good.
It tastes good. Right. Just eat it. You know what I'm saying? And so I just remember feeling ostracized for like eating the way that we did, and my mom was like uphill battle of trying to get us to understand, why we were eating the way that we did. So my family introduced me to eating chicken. My grandma.
That's how them grandmas be doing, but
get your little piece of chicken, right? And so when I first ate chicken, I was like, oh, I like this, you know? And so my mom ended up starting to like buy it for us, because she was like, y'all gonna eat it, y'all gonna eat organic, you're not about to eat, she's always been a health nut all my life, so I started eating chicken, turkey, and dairy and eggs. So that kind of got into my diet. Because I was born Muslim, I never had pork. And then the only beef I've ever had was from McDonald's, like having the little cheeseburgers. But other than that, I've never had like steak or nothing like that. And I never really liked seafood. So my meat consumption was still like limited. But I love me some chicken, girl. So I ate a lot of chicken. Probably way too much.
Right, I was about to say, you'll find yourself like, what, is there any other meats other than chicken?
I'm telling you, I was like, man, y'all got me in a chokehold, you know what I'm saying? So, but by the time I turned 19, a group of friends and we watched this documentary called Earthlings. It's an old documentary. If you've never seen it, you should definitely check it out.
I'll check it out.
And that's all it took. It was just that one video, and I was like, this was what mom has been trying to tell me all along. It just really just helped you to see like how much the meat industry, in fact, impacts the environment, and just like the impact that it has on animals and like the suffering that they go through. And me just kind of really being in a very spiritual space at the time, I just felt so sensitive to their experience, And so I was like, I'm going to be vegan. I literally had just bought groceries, girl. I'm talking about refrigerator stocked. And I was like, I'm not eating any of it. I gave it all away. And I just overnight changed my diet. And what happened was I used to have polycystic ovarian cyst. Like, bad enough that I went to the hospital a few times over it. I used to have terrible PMS. Like, the day one was always, I'm not going to work or school. And I used to have fainting spells. Like, I would literally just pass out. And I would go to the doctor. They don't know what's going on with me neurologically, that I would just pass out, right? And so I started eating plant-based. And, of course, I'm cleaning out. I'm like, ooh. I was like, I didn't even know my body could do all of this release, all this excretion. I was like, what is happening? You know what I'm saying? So I don't like, and see, at the time, I didn't really know I was detoxing. I didn't really understand that to the effect. This was all experience. And so time going by, and I'm like, I haven't fainted. I'm having a period, I feel fine. What's happening, you know? So I started researching, like, learning more about plant-based, and I was like, wow, it has health benefits. So with Earthlings, it just teaches you about environment and, like, the ethical reasons of why to not eat animals. But it doesn't really get too much into the health aspect. A little bit, but not too much. And so I was like, wow, like, I'm becoming healthy. You know what I'm saying? And I used to have chronic bronchitis, too, which I'm, like, always spitting up, like, huge things of mucus. And so that went away. I didn't have no PMS, I didn't have no ovarian cysts, and I wasn't fainting. Now the fainting thing was like big, because I was starting to think that was about to be a thing. So what I started to learn is that when we eat, like, have a high consumption of animals, we are taking in cholesterol, more cholesterol than our body needs, because our body makes all the cholesterol that we need. We don't need excess. So when we eat meat, we're taking in excess. And so cholesterol is what builds up in our arteries to create plaque that blocks, you know, blood flow from going to the heart. That's why people get heart attacks, or blood flow going to the brain. So what I was realizing is that I was having buildup in my blood going to my brain, which is what would cause me to faint. So by, you know, reducing or eliminating animals from my diet, I was eliminating plaque in my bloodstream, which would allow me to have more oxygen going to my brain so that I stop fainting altogether. And that was, like, completely unexpected. I didn't go into it thinking, like, I'm going to heal my body.
Right, that was just the side effect.
Yeah, it was just a byproduct of, you know, ethical decision. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh, this done changed the game. I was like, I'm dedicated now, you know. And so that really just kick-started my journey of, like, wanting to eat this way and teaching a lot of people. Like, I came up against a lot of pushback, because they're like, oh, you just eat leaves and berries. What's a vegan? You know, we don't, you know, it was all, I was vegan when it wasn't even cool. Right. You know, now everybody knows what a vegan is, which is beautiful. You know, so I got to see that evolution, you know, because I was 19, I'm 35 now, so it's still, you know, years ago. And, you know, then through me wanting to share food with people was why I decided to get my raw vegan certification with Dr. Iris and learn more about, like, how to detox the body with raw foods, and learning how, like, we eat a lot of dehydrated foods, meaning, like, through the process of cooking, we are losing a lot of the water in the food, and or all of the water, and our body needs water. We're mostly water beings, and so we need that fluidity in our life for our bones to be moving good, for our muscles to move good.
Your body will let you know if you've been drinking enough water. Like, like you said, you won't feel fluid, chest be feeling heavy.
Yes,
like,
your mind
sluggish.
is foggy.
Yes.
You know, we need fluidity, and we receive that through eating water-based foods.
Real quick,
yes,
because you studied under Dr. Aries. Am I saying it right, Dr. Aries? I know that he talks about, like, he doesn't drink regular water. Right. I don't think he drinks, like, coconut water, and I think, like, talks about I don't know if he was one of the people that talks about what they call H3O. Or, like, you know, eating watermelons and things like that. So when you were there at the retreat, did he talk about, like, not drinking water?
We didn't drink any water.
Okay.
We only drank coconut water.
He just drink. But I love coconut water. Now, I feel like if he lives in, like, the tropics or something, right? I'm like, I feel like that's more practical. Yes, if you live in the tropics to, like, just drink coconut water. Because, like, even for us, like, we'll try to go to the coconuts here for one are expensive. Like, coconut water.
$4 a pop.
Coconut water is expensive. It's $4 to $5 in the box, like in a can. Like, so I'm like, even when I drink water, I'm like, why are we paying for water? But life is life.
I know. Listen, we was getting like 50-cent coconut water, like
Ooh, down
in
there.
the coconut. We
Yes.
was drinking. It was the coconuts in abundance. We were drinking it a whole lot, and it was amazing. And then as you were saying, like eating fruit, that's structured water. So stuff like watermelon, it's mostly water with a little bit of sugar in it from the fruit itself. But that structured water is more potent than like the water we got in our water bottles. And if you ever like really just eat like a high base fruit diet, you'll notice that you won't feel dehydrated, like you need to go and drink glasses of water. So if you ever like really embark upon that, you're like, I'm noticing like I don't really need water like that,
right.
because you're receiving your water from your food. But because most of the food that we eat when we cook it doesn't have a lot of water, we end up like, this is the first thing we eat in a plate of food, and we need
something to drink to get through it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because you done put some salt on it. You like, ooh, I got the drink in between.
Exactly.
I'm one of those type of people. I cannot go through the whole meal and not drink something. Like I have to like drink in the midst of eating.
Exactly. Because it literally is like cooked food sucks more of the water out of you as you're eating it. It dehydrates you along the way. And people who end up becoming like constipated, this is why, because it's like literally no water in the body, to like help formulate and push out, defecation as it's supposed to. Like you strain it to get it out because you don't have enough fluid in the body, And
you got people out here talking about they don't like water.
I know it's bad.
It's water. Like I understand it don't taste like nothing, but like you said, we need this. Like you need water, and water just. And I mean, maybe it's because a lot of people are drinking like some BS type of water. Maybe I don't know if you drank the purest waters from the purest streams or something. But water feels so life giving. Literally, like when you're drinking it, even just. Just being here at Urban Eden and skincare being our thing, it's like the first thing people are always like, oh, what can I put on my skin and stuff? And sometimes it's like, drink water. Like, hydrate yourself from the inside. You will see major changes if you drink water. And I've heard even so many people just look at it like water changes the game, especially like during the summer, living in tropical areas, like anywhere, just drink water. Like, water is so healing within itself. It's just as healing as going outside and getting some sunlight. I even like my brother, he is 20, he about to be 26, and he was living with us for a minute, and every time in the morning when I would see him, I'd be like, did you drink water like this morning? Like
like today?
Did you start your morning with water? Like that's the least thing that you could do if you don't know what else to do for yourself. Drink some water in the morning.
Yeah, for sure.
Clean your system out.
And if you struggle with drinking water, eat some fruit.
Eat some fruit, yes. Some watermelon. Watermelon fruits, definitely helps. Cucumbers.
Not a banana.
Not a banana, no. The stuff that's like juicy. When you bite into it, it's some juice rolling down the side. Yes.
Exactly.
It is getting you right. Okay, my bad.
You good.
I don't, because like I'm like, you're just talking about how good water is for you, coconut water and fruits and different things. And it was two things I thought about: the fact that people don't like water, and then also when you like eat fruit, you'll get some people on social media that'll be like, well, don't eat too much fruit because diabetic or something about too much sugar. And I'm like, what can you do in this world? Like if I can't eat, I know too much of anything, like even drinking too much water could be, like too much, consuming too much at one time can be too much. But like I can't eat too much fruit. Like I don't want to do too much, but eating fruit.
Yes. So the thing about that is if you eat a lot of the wrong foods, it throws off your body's natural ability to process the right foods. So people who are diabetic do have to be more mindful of eating sugars, period. They have to like rebuild their body through eating a lot of vegetables. And a lot of green juices and stuff to be able to put themselves back in the space where their body can handle sugar, and then they can eat fruit again. If they initially eat fruit before they go through the rebuilding, the cellular regeneration of their body, then it will have a grave impact on them. You understand? So it is eating a lot of white processed sugars that creates free radicals in the body that causes the body to basically mutate, and causes dysfunction in your organs for you to be able to assimilate or eliminate properly. So you have to fix that first before it can be able to do what it needs to do or what it naturally can do. You know, so that's why you see a lot more people saying like, oh, you can't eat too much fruit because you've been living your life eating too much pure white sugar, you know, and a lot of things have like this white sugar from the white pastas, white rices, white breads, you know, and those sugars are not good for the body. But we as humans, like, we're literally designed to have sugar. Like,
yeah,
that's
like
what our
natural
body
sugar and watermelon. Like watermelon is like good and sweet, but that's what we're finding. Even too, like me and Quentin aren't vegan. We've had vegan phases, and then of course doing our juice fast. But what we've been realizing too is like the processed food in general. So even when you say like plant-based, because vegan is this like really big thing right now, but I think it's really coming down to like plant-based, like eating more plants, eating more fruits and veggies, like that'll help to just like balance you out a whole lot more internally and externally. And you even said something deep with the sugars. You said that it introduces like free radicals to your body. Like that's one of the things that is breaking you down. I mean, we break down in general. I mean, you get older with age, but I even just like the other day I saw somebody showing a 104-year-old grandmother and she was still swimming in the swimming pool. So it's like you still have the girl out here living. Like I want that's goals. Like, you know? Yes, goals at over 100 in the pool, breaking it down with my friends. Something, but like you said, the processed foods and the sugars is like. It's introducing those free radicals and causing us to age more and look like we done been through a lot or look like what we done been through on the outside or what we've been eating. Like I was just reading a book and they were just talking about like we live to eat. A lot of us eat like we live to eat instead of eating to live. Like eating the foods and anything that I've even been reading about like skin conditions, I mean depression, like anything that you're dealing with like negative in your body, the diet. Like what's in your diet? What are you eating? Are you eating foods that are live? So even when you talked about like fruits and stuff, so in cooked food, I'm like, so you guys went and like y'all are masters in like raw veganism. Y'all be cooking some. Like, wait a minute. I think we did a raw vegan cleanse with y'all too. We had raw vegan like burgers and it was like a 7-day cleanse. And I'm like, okay, I've done like raw for like 3 days, but I've never done it like for more days because I'm gonna do like raw tacos. But there's so many different things you can make. Raw sushi, raw burgers, like raw spaghetti. There's so many different things you could do.
So many things.
With the raw foods and like raw foods, and you do feel like alive. You feel different.
You feel very revitalized because all your raw foods have they maintain their enzymes. When you cook it, you lose the enzymes, and the enzymes is a part of the food that makes it alive. You know, so when you eat it, you feel a burst of energy. You feel that vitality. When the enzymes are gone, you just kind of eating for pleasure and not eating for like health, eating for nutrition. You know what I'm saying? Because like the tongue is like, you know, this cupcake tastes good. You know what I mean? Or this, you know, I don't know, Beyond Meat tastes good, but the body itself is not processing it. It's like, oh, this is good for me. You know what I'm saying?
No,
and so that's the difference there. We have to kind of get past the satiation of like certain textures and certain tastes and certain things, or even just warmth itself, because we love hot food. You know, I love hot food myself, even though my goal is to eat a high raw diet, and I do eat a lot of raw foods, but sometimes I want to have cooked food as well. And but it's just about finding that balance and making sure that I'm still eating a lot more living foods to maintain nutrition. And I can always tell the difference when I've gone to the place of eating way too much cooked food and not enough raw foods. I start feeling more sluggish. You know, my mind is not as clear. You know, so your body will let you know like something is missing. It needs something. You know, and if you're eating too much processed foods, you're not getting the nutrients you need, which puts you in a space of needing to get more supplements or needing to add certain things to your diet, or feel like the diet is not working for you because you're not eating, you know, the range of foods that you need to have.
That's why I liked when you guys did like the cleanses with the seasons, because the seasons change every 3 to 4 months or so, and it's just a good way to be able to recalibrate if you've just been like wilding out or what have
back,
you.
huh?
You gotta bring it back. And it's even good that your mom was like already on to that, because I think that's what so many of us around our age range are trying to like break free from the generation of like growing up on processed foods and not know, like you said, your friends not even knowing anything about veganism or plant-based eating. I know I talk to Quentin all the time. I'm like, I don't even remember, like even when I started interning at a farm, that's when it connected to me that food even grew on plants. Like I didn't know anything about that in general. It was just what I see in the grocery store, and then eating food from the can, like not even really seeing like fresh fruits and vegetables. And I think that's where we have the opportunity within this age of awakening to like change that for the next generation, for our own children, and to introduce them into like eating more balanced and helping their minds, helping their creativity and their intellect and their emotional intelligence as they continue to grow through the food, in the diet, with the children. It's like where it needs to start.
Yes.
Get the young impressionable minds and the bodies like together. So I mean, wow, this is why I love, like we're talking about like sound, food, and then the next thing that comes up is holding space, like holding space. And then even so you guys do retreats, and even in these retreats, like y'all are cooking good food, y'all are having the sound healing, y'all are doing the emotional healing, you're holding space for people. So it's essentially like you're taking people where to like a retreat type of space, like where it's very green, you're next to the water. Tell us more about the retreats. You go deeper.
So we have a few different types of retreats that we hold, and it's up in LAJ, and it's on the Kusawati River, which I have a deep reverence for. I'm a water baby, all together. Daughter of the water.
Yes.
And water is a master holder of space, and it's a place to be if you want. Our ancestors said, I'm going to lay down my burdens down by the riverside, right? They got that wisdom. That's that ancient wisdom.
Lay down my burdens down by the riverside and let it flow with the water. Take it away from me. That's deep.
It is.
I done heard this song plenty times, but when you said it was deep. Wow,
yes.
Okay. Lay down the burdens.
Yes, incorporating that. And, we go out there and we have people share like the struggles that they're going through, challenges that they have, blockages, trauma, stress, crisis, or just stuck points, and what can we, and as we're bringing that out, implementing, purifying, and cleansing practices that help clean it out, and that so that you can have aha moments, right? So we're creating spaces for gaps of inspiration. So you could have moments where you're like, this is what I need to be doing. This is where spirit is trying to tell me. Oh, this is me connected to my soul. My soul has a calling. It has a purpose here in this lifetime. I have something that I'm supposed to be doing, and I can hear it now. When we're like out in the society, especially if you live in, in the corporate world, it's so much hustle and bustle that it's hard to hear your own voice. It's hard to hear your higher self. It's hard to commune with spirit. And so it's basically just being able to create a space that you could do that at. We do like silence fast where we don't talk for a couple hours. Nobody's talking to you. You ain't talking to nobody. And you get to see what's in the background. What's your background noise? Because everybody got a background noise, right? Inside of their consciousness. And is your background noise disempowering you? Is it saying things like you're not good enough, you're unworthy, you don't look well, people are talking about you, you did this, you did that? Or is it telling you like, I'm so proud of you, you're deserving, you're worthy, you're right on track? Like what is that background tape? And a lot of times you won't know what that is until you experience like some silence, or you are off in a place where you're not having all these distractions. We don't tell people they can't be on their phone, but naturally people are not on their phones like that. So you're not scrolling, you're not on social media, you're not taking in all these impressions of other people's lives, and you just sitting with yourself and sitting with nature and people who are on the same exact alignment with you. And so it's basically being able to create a sacred space for, as our tagline, the evolution of consciousness, so that, you're eating well, you're submerged in nature, and you are being able to articulate what you got going on, and then we're educating on how to implement certain yogic and meditative practices to support and nurture you throughout your day-to-day, how you could practically add, these different practices into your life, how you could practically add trauma releases, emotional releases into your day-to-day, so that you're not having all this pent-up energy that keeps you bogged down and keeps you, in a constant state of anxiety or depression. There's a high epidemic of mental health problems, and it's because our society doesn't nurture our nature, right? And so we need to be able to put ourselves in positions or in environments that's going to nurture our very beings, so that we can be able to get to the space of actualizing what we came here to do.
So now I'm about to take one of these retreats because
come on.
nah, for real, like because everything that you said, I'm like, wow, why are you speaking to me like that? Because and I keep, you have this like inner voice that's always like talking to you, and it can be really hard to hear that sometimes. Like, we think because and I love like actually retreating and going to a different space, because yes, you could do this in your house, or you could do it like in your car or somewhere silent. You can do that, but kind of just like reminding you about nature and like you said, letting nature nurture that within you is something that I think, like, especially just being an entrepreneur in general, is like something that's needed, because like even for me, that's what I deal with. It's like, of course, like I'm here doing Urban Eden and I'm flourishing within Urban Eden, but then it's kind of like you still kind of need to tap back into that. What are the messages and the downloads, the messages and the downloads that are coming to you? Like, what is that you're receiving daily? And like you said, being able to articulate like your path and your purpose. And it's like you could have it at one point, but then it's just a continuous journey. You could be like, well, dang, which path should I take now? Do I go left or right? Yeah. And you need those. Everything is within you, though. Yes. That's the messages that I've been seeing, is like everything is within you. So you guys pretty much like facilitate and just help to remind people that it's already right there.
It's already there.
It's right there.
All we're doing is creating the space for creating the conditions for you to be able to discover that for yourself. Sometimes we don't take the time, or we don't have the time, or we don't know how
to do it,
to create that space for ourselves. And so it's like, here, I've played it all out for you. You can come and discover things for yourself, and it'll all come to you. And then even just through conversation, you invite different streams of thought, as like neuroplasticity says, it's like opening up new neural pathways. If we talk about certain things or we engage in certain things, this allows you to have it stretches your thought patterns to go to somewhere else. Because if you not in certain environments or not engaging in certain conversations, you're going to stay in cyclical thoughts, the same thoughts over and over and over again. So by doing certain things like going on retreats or putting yourself in environments that are nurturing your nature, you are intercepting that cycle and opening up to go somewhere else. So that's what the retreats is for. It's an interception, right? How can I intercept whatever cyclical environment you've found yourself in mentally, so help you find an out, so that your channels can be more clear as to what it is that you need to be doing in life, what it is that you need. What are your needs? What are your wants? What are your passions? What are your, what are some things you're holding on to? What are some things you need to let go of or detach? Or, what are you feeling? Like tap in on much, much deeper levels. And we can't do that if we have so many things happening around us at once,
Well, thank you for doing the work. And I feel like after this conversation, like in the beginning, I asked you what a holistic engineer was, but I feel like as we kind of like went deeper into it, it brought me back full circle to, I'm like, she's a holistic engineer. Like she's literally just, helping you just to tap in and to, like I said, see those things that are already inside of you, offering space to hold space for others through retreats, doing sound healing, also through the food, like helping people to just tap in so many different ways, because, I think the word is like holism. Or like, holism. I think it's holism. I like it. Go ahead. Or something. The whole. Holism. Like,
I believe in holism.
It just embodies so much. It's so much in it. So it's just like, there's not just this one thing to a holistic journey. It's so many different things. So it's like,
Find what works best for you.
Yes, you are helping to facilitate, to navigate, and to guide. So thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
It is so needed. And also thank you for just like sharing this space here and just going deeper with us on just the different ways that we can take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Jay-Z, what you said at the end, it came to my mind when Jay-Z said, show up for yourself. Like,
yes.
You're helping others to, like, show up for themselves. It's like, sometimes we need that help and that guidance. Yes. And I'm just thankful for you. You've definitely helped me a lot in my life, from being my doula.
Yes, ma'am.
I remember your meetup of the minds. Like, that was different. Yes, you had us thinking, like, differently. The meeting of the minds. Definitely so many raw food. You got to bring them back. Like you said, having conversations can definitely just, like, help to just awaken and help you to think differently. You are on point with that. So thank you again for sharing us. Before we leave, where can we find you on social media? And also, you left us with so much, but like overall, what is one thing that you just want to share here on the podcast?
Okay, so you can find me on Facebook or Instagram as Akiyla McQueen, and you can also find me on Instagram at a Sacred Vibration, or visit our website at www.supremeessencepfw.com. And what I want to leave with you today is just, okay, what really just dropped in me just then is somebody I really, really love and adore, who was my sister, my day-to-day, just recently transitioned, and I miss her all the time. And I just want to say that we only have one life to live in this vessel. Make it the best that you can. Make it fulfilling. Make it something that you can remember. I've been at the bedside of many people who are dying. And I tell you one thing that they are not thinking about is all the TV they was watching or all the social media scrolling that they were doing. They talked about how much their relationships mattered, how much time they wasted, how much they engaged in the things that were important to them. And what mattered most to them in life, like what brought them most fulfillment. And so as we're living here in these vessels, just make sure that you are spending it doing things that you'll be proud to look back on, that you'll feel like, yeah, I lived my life and I lived it to the fullest, and I feel honored to have walked this life that I've walked.
And that's a holistic journey right there. Yes. Like at the end, when it all comes full circle, like what really matters at that point. And every day, like we said, show up for yourself. This is a daily work. This is something that you do daily.
Absolutely.
Until you take that last breath.
And we never know when it's going to be.
You really don't, man. I think
so
about
start
that often.
Today.
All right, let me not get on to a whole nother new thing. Start today. We're going to end out this podcast. Thank you for just sharing your wisdom with us, sharing space with us, and just going deeper. We appreciate it. It's always a blessing to sit with you and talk with you and to just be in your presence. It always feels so good. So comforting and so warming. So yes, this was another podcast episode with Akiyla McQueen. Thank you again for joining us, and y'all be blessed.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.